we understand how navigation is supposed to work. So when you click on a particular link, if you click on a particular link like this, it will take you to another page. If we click here, it will take us to another page. And there's something I want us to note here on this page. Just look at this page if you are seeing it. Right now we are on the tags. If I click solutions, you see that the content has changed, but this page did not reload. Here we have learning path. If I click learning path, you see we are navigating from one page to another, but the page does not reload. If I click challenges, the only thing you notice is the title change and sub this sub file change as well, but it does not reload. Now let's visit another page like let me open this the React official page. Let's see what is going to happen. Maybe the React itself will be doing something different. Why I'm showing us all this is so that we understand exactly what we are building. If I click reference, you see it's the same thing. This page did not reload. The content just changed. So let me click on this smartphone. Okay, are you guys seeing what is happening here? Are you seeing that this is reloading? Just watch again. Let me click on what again? What should I click on? In fact, let me click on any of these phones. I click. Look at. You see that the page is spinning. So what is happening here is this. This Jumia is not a single page application, which means when you click on any navigation link, a lot of requests are made before the page will show you what you want to see. Okay, if I click on my account, you see, as this thing is loading, a lot of requests is being made, and that is why some pages takes time to load. Unless all the requests are attended to, the page will not be able to load. Okay, now, but on this React, if I click on a different link like this, it will not reload the page, it doesn't refresh. It will just change the content. The page content will just change. If I click blog, it changes, and you see that the time it takes to reload is pretty faster than those ones that reload the entire page. So these two things are what we're going to focus on learning how we can create them first. Okay, I think this is later on we can go back to that. So for that, we're going to create another folder inside this source file, and we call it pages. In it, we are going to have our pages. So we're just going to create a couple of pages. So we'll call this home page dot .jsx. So make another one, call it maybe about page dot .jsx, and let's just add another one again. So these two are enough. Let's call this portfolio page.jsx. Okay, so we've got these three pages, and we just have to RFC. Is this? Yeah. So, all right. so that it doesn't give us error. So we have the component created. Now on this home page, we are going to import our home page to the app.jsx right here. So the CSS should be there. So inside here, we want to import the home page. Right here we have the app showing, and on this home page we have home page. So let me just do something here. Let me change this to H1. How to create navigation links. Okay. Now, after this, I'm going to import right home. I'll hit enter so that I will import it here. I'll now put this. Okay. We can see now that the home page is connected here, and that's what we have right here. And why I did this is so that our focus now will be on this home page. On this home page, we can now maybe create one or two things. Still, we can leave this here for now and do some things here so that we'll also see how it works if we want to navigate to the home page. Please, are we flowing, or have I brought in something complicated? Let me get the feedback. Okay. Right, we are good to go. Now, let's start by creating something inside this app components. Inside the app components, we're going to create something that will bring the effects of single page application navigation. First of all, let me just put a little comments up here. So we need to install a module. We need to install a module that we are going to use for our browser router, for the routes and for the routes, and also the link. Okay, so these four things, we need them. We need them to be able to navigate from one page to another. So the module we need is now the React Router DOM. React Router DOM. So I'm not going to turn off this. Instead, I'll open a new terminal by clicking this plus icon. So let's give it a moment to load. So on the new terminal, we can now run our installation while this is still working. So I'll type here npm install react dash router dash DOM. Hit enter. So this is going to install the module that we need, and it won't take that much time. It won't take time. So While that is getting installed, let's just give it a moment.
Okay.
Okay,
The
the
installation
installation
is
is
completed.
completed.
Now,
Now,
here
here,
I'll leave
I'll
this
leave
the
this
way it is
the way it is
for now.
for
Let's
now.
just leave it
Let's
like
just
that.
leave it like that.
Now up here,
Now, up here,
I'm going
I'm
to
going to
first.
let's go back up a little bit.
So here I'm
So
going to
here, I'm going to
put in
put
our
in our
browser
browser
router.
browser router. So make sure it's imported by hitting
Once
this.
you see the
Once you
suggestion,
see the suggestion, you hit enter key.
so
So
we have the
we have
open
the
and close
open and
tag.
close tag.
I'll break it into.
I'll break it into.
Now, while we are
Now,
doing it,
while we are doing it, I'll be explaining exactly what we are doing.
okay.
Okay.
First,
Why do we need this
browser
browser router
element or
element? Or yes, it's an element.
why do we need
Why
it?
do we need it?
First of all,
First of all,
this is what
this is what
performs
performs
the work
the
of
work of
navigating
navigating
to a
to a
specific
specific
type of
type
routes.
of routes.
Okay,
Okay,
so it
so
uses
it
the
uses the
HTML
HTML
history
history API
like
like
the push
the
state,
push states, the
the
pop
pop
state,
state,
and all those states.
and
And
that is what is
that is
used
what
in
is used in
modern
modern
applications
applications
for a
for
clean
a clean
routing.
routing.
Okay,
Okay,
that is why we
so
are
that is why
using
we are
it.
using it.
Now,
Now, there is another type of router called the router. Instead of using browser router, you just use router,
just like this.
just like this.
Okay,
Okay,
but this one
but this one
is like a
is like
lower
a
level
lower level
component,
component,
and it's
and it's
different
different
from the
from the
browse
browse
router.
router.
There are some
There
cases
are some
where you
cases
need
where you need
router.
router.
There are some
There are
cases
some
where
cases where
you need
you need
browser
browser
router. So what we
router. So
need
what
now
we need
is
now is this
browser
browser
router.
router.
Inside the
Inside the browser router, we now have to specify another element that will contain all our
different routes.
different routes, and that one is now called that one is now called
Routes,
routes,
just like this.
just
And
like
also
this. And also
make sure
make
it
sure
is
that it
imported,
is imported
and you have the
and you have
closing
the
tag
closing
this
tag
way.
this way.
Inside the
Inside
routes,
the routes,
we now have
we
to
now have to start putting in our
route the
routes,
exact
the exact
location that we want
location
to
that we
access.
want to access.
In
So,
other words,
in other
we'll now
words,
start
we'll
putting
now
in
start
something
putting
like
in
our
something like our
tag, something
anchor
like this.
tag, something like this,
But
but
something that will give us
something
the
that will
same
give us the
results
same
as what you
results
have
as
on
what
the
you have on the
screen.
screen, our anchor tag.
But what we do
But what we
instead
do instead
put
is
in
we put in
routes,
routes,
no S
no
this time,
S this time,
routes, which
routes,
also has
which
to be
also has to be
imported.
imported.
So you see the three
So you
of
see the
them
three of
are being
them are
imported
being
right
imported right
up here.
up here.
So anytime you
So
hit
anytime you hit enter, browser router,
the
routes,
routes
and
are
routes,
all
they are all
imported. So it's
imported. So
inside
it's inside this route now that we specify
where we want
where
to
we want to
head to.
head to.
Okay.
Okay.
Before I do that,
Before I do that,
let me comment
let
out
me
this
comment out this
first, so
first,
that we don't have
so
it
that
on
we
the
don't have
page.
it on the
Then we'll
page.
see when it
Then
is
we'll see when
working.
it is working.
So the
So
route
the routes have
a
um,
closing
a
tag.
closing tag.
It is like
It is like
a component,
a
so it's
component, so
self
it's
closed.
self-closed.
And now you
And
begin
now you
to
begin to
put the
put the
parameters,
parameters,
okay,
okay,
that will
that will
indicate the
indicate the
location of each
location
route.
of each route.
So the
So
first
the first
attribute
attribute
is the
is
path.
the path.
In this
In
path,
this path,
you now
you now
specify
specify
where
where
or the
or the
location of the route.
location of the
So
route.
first, we are going to
First, we are going
create
to
a
create
route
a
for the
route
home
for the
page,
home page,
which is
which
just
is
forward
just
slash.
forward slash.
After the path,
After the path,
you now
you now
put in the
put in the
elements.
elements.
Okay.
Okay.
So what this
So
basically
what this
means
basically
is
means
when
is
you
when you
click on
click
whatever,
on
or when you
whatever, or when
navigate
you
to
navigate to
this path, what do
this
you want
path,
to see?
what do you want to see?
Okay, so you need to
Okay, so
specify
you
the
need to
element
specify
here,
the element here,
and it's just like
and
a
it's just
prop,
like a prop,
right? But
all
it's
right,
not
but it's not
a prop per
a
se.
prop per se.
So I'll open
So
this,
I'll open this,
and because
and
this
because
path
this
is leading
path
to the
is
home
leading to
page,
the home
we are
page,
now
we are
going
now
to
going to
include
include
our
our
home route,
home route
our
or
home
our home
element,
element.
and we know how to
And we
put
know how to put
elements.
elements. We put this one,
And
and we now put
home
home
page,
page,
okay,
okay,
like this.
like this.
So
So
when we have done
when we
this,
have done
we
this,
need
we need
to come and
to come
close
and close
this
this
off
off
like this.
like this.
And I
And I
refresh.
refresh.
So you see,
So you see,
it
this
has
is, it
come back
has
again.
come back
Though
again.
I
Though
removed
I
it
removed it under here,
but it has come
but it
again
has come again. Why?
because what we
Because
have
what
now
we have
is
now
more
is
like
more like
going to
going
forward
to
slash
forward slash
this.
this.
I seen it.
I seen
So
it.
that is why
So
it
that
is
is why
showing
it is
this
showing
on the
this
app
on the app
itself.
itself.
But then let's
But then
create
let's
for
create
other
for other
ones
ones
and
and
we'll
we'll
see
see
whether
whether
it
it
will
will
be
be
the
the
same.
same.
So let's follow
So
the
let's
same
follow the
process.
same
You
process.
create
You
a new
create a
route
new route
and
and
let's close it
let's
up
close it up immediately to avoid
unnecessary shouting.
unnecessary
So we
shouting.
put
So
the
we put
path,
the path,
and this
and
time
this time we're going to specify
the
the, what is
about
this, about page.
so
So
what we are going to
what we
put
are
in
going to
here
put in
is,
here is,
let's just call
let's
it
just call it,
let's just call
let us
it
call it
about
about
page.
page.
And what
And
is the
what is the
element that we
element that we
want
want
to
to
see
see
when we get to
when
the
we
about
get to the
page?
about page?
Just put this
Just
like
put
this,
this one,
and then
and then
we put
we put
about
about
page.
page.
Just like
Okay.
we put about
We put
page
about page
like
like
so.
so.
And
And
sorry,
sorry,
so if I
so
save,
if I save,
it is not
it is
showing
not showing
because the about
because
page
the about
is showing
page
us
is showing
reference
us
error.
reference
So the
error.
about
So the
page
about
need
page need
to be
to be
imported as
imported
well.
as well.
So let us
So let
import
us import
about
about
page
page
from,
from,
and then you
and
make sure that
then
you
you make sure that you
specify
specify the
pages,
pages,
and then
and
inside the
then inside the
pages we get the
pages we
about
get the
page
about page
this way.
this way.
And
And
okay, now
okay,
everything is
now
okay.
everything is
But you
okay.
now see
But
that
you now
on
see
this
that on
about
this
page we
about
have
page,
this
we have
about
this
page.
about page, but it's not showing here.
So if we
So
come to
if
this
we come to this
navigation
navigation
and we put
and we put
forward
forward
slash
slash
about,
about,
let's just put
let's
something
just
like
put
this,
something like this, about page,
and we click
I will click. Oh, something is wrong. Hold on. I'll make this simpler so that it doesn't give us unnecessary stress. So I put this one, I hit enter. All right. So you see this? Why it didn't work? Because I didn't type the exact thing that I have in here. So let's make this to be easier. So when I reload this and I come up here, so I change this to about, and okay, just about now. Okay, so instead of putting long something that will confuse us, we see now that when we navigate to about page, it gives us a different page or a different content. What is that content? What we are seeing here. So if I come to this about page and maybe I change some things like this and I put maybe H1. I say welcome to about us page, something like this, and I refresh. You can see welcome to about us page. This one will still remain there because it is here inside our application. But then to make it look nicer, I'll move this up here. Okay. So this will be up. Welcome to about us page. And this one right here, I'm going to still break it down to H1. Welcome to home page. Okay. So welcome to home page. So when we refresh, right now we are on the home page, on the about us page, sorry. But if I get rid of all this, I put forward slash and I hit enter, now it's going to take us back to the home page. Okay, so this is how you can create your routes. But then we are yet to create the, how do I put it, navigation link itself where we can click. We are yet to do that. And what you are seeing here is elements. You are rendering different elements to different routes. So this homepage could be a fully developed homepage, a full-fledged homepage, okay, that is developed already. So once you pass the elements into your route, when you navigate to a different element, it will render that page. But this will not refresh the page. It will not reload the entire page when this is rendering. Alright, so let's create the next one. This one is going to just be portfolio, and we are returning the portfolio page. So we have it imported here, and here we simply say with our H1, welcome to portfolio page, also portfolio page, also. And if we now navigate to forward slash portfolio, then it will take us to the portfolio page.
let's
Now,
understand
let's
this first
understand this
before
first
we
before we
now
now
go
go
into
into
the
the
aspect where we have
aspect
to
where we
bring
have to
out
bring out
the links
the
where we
links
need to
where we
click,
need to click,
and then it will
and
take
then
us
it will
to
take us
a
to a
different
different
page.
page. Are
Are we on the same page? Is it entering?
is
Are
it
we flowing?
entering? Are we flowing?
Do we have any
Do we
question?
have any question?
If you have any
If you have any
question,
question,
you can use
you
the
can
chat
use the chat
or
or
I
oh
didn't see
sorry,
that
I didn't see that legit.ng.
You can use the
You
chat
can use the
or
chat or
unmute
use
yourself and
unmute
ask
yourself and ask
if you have
if you
any
have
question.
any question.
Talked
We
about
have talked about, we have handled
browser
this
router
browser router,
and route.
routes and route. Okay?
Is that where we stopped?
Is that where
We
we
can
stopped?
move on to the
Then we
next
can
one.
move on to the next one, which is link.
Okay.
Okay.
Now,
Now,
with this link,
with this
we'll now
link,
be able to
we'll now be able
create
to create
a
a
navigation link,
navigation link,
which means
which means
an anchor
an
element.
anchor element.
All right. And I would like
All
us
right, and I would
to
like us to just
create
create
a component
a
that will
component
render
that will
our
render our
navigation link.
navigation link.
Since we already know
Since
how
you
to
already
create
know how to
components,
create components,
inside this
so inside
component
this
folder,
component folder,
currently we
currently we
don't
don't
have
have
anything
anything
inside.
inside.
All right.
All right,
I will
so
create
I
a
will
file
create a
inside
file
here
inside here
that
that
I'll
I'll
call
call
navigation.
navigation.
Let me just call it
Let me just call it
navigation
navigation link
dot
dot
gsx.
gsx.
Okay.
Okay,
And
and
in this
in this
navigation,
navigation,
I'm going to
I'm going
create
to create
the link.
the link.
So here,
So here,
let's just
let's
pull this
just
out.
pull this out.
So I'm going to
So
use
I'm going to
a
use
semantic
a semantic
HTML.
HTML.
So we'll start
So we
by
start
using the
by
nav.
using the nav.
And normally
And
in our
normally in our
HTML, this is what
HTML,
we
this is
do.
what we do.
And inside here,
And
we
inside
have
here we have
our
our
list.
list.
Inside the list, we
Inside the
have
list we have
our anchor
our
element
anchor
with
element with
href.
href.
And then
And
right
then right
inside here,
inside here,
we now have
we
to
now have to
pass in something
pass in
like
something like
about us
about us
here.
here.
Okay, so this is
Okay, so
our
this is our
navigation.
We
We can add
can add
multiple
multiple
items to it.
items to it.
So this is what
So
we
this is what we
literally do
literally do
with
with
HTML
HTML
and CSS.
and CSS.
So
So
I would have to
I would
pass
have to
this
pass this
onto
onto
our
our home page
where I
where
want to have
I
the
want to have the
navigation.
navigation.
Okay.
Okay,
So for me to do
so for
that,
me to do that,
in this home
in this
page,
home page,
I'm going
I'm
to
going to
import it
import it
up here.
up here.
I will import
I will
our
import our
navigation link.
navigation link here.
So this is navigation link, and make sure that you import it also up. So I'll click enter for it to be automatically imported, and then I make sure I close like all right.
All right,
So
so
what I've
basically what
done
I've
is to
done
create
is to create
this
this
component,
component,
the
the
navigation link,
navigation link component,
and I
and
imported
I
it
imported
inside
it
the
inside the
home
home.
page. And this is where I imported the
So I
link
imported
component
the
here.
link component
So
here.
that's what is
So
giving
that's
us
what is
this
giving us
about
this
us link.
about us link.
So now,
So now,
just watch what will
just watch
happen.
what will happen.
When I click
When
on
I
this
click on
about
this
us link,
about us
though
link,
it is not
though it is
linking
not
to
linking
anywhere,
to anywhere,
but what you
but
notice is
what you
that
notice is
it
that it
reloads
reloads the entire page.
okay.
Okay,
When I click,
I
you see
click,
that
you
the
see
entire
that the
page is
entire page is
reloading.
reloading. So if you
Open this
open
network
this
tab
network
here.
tab here,
Let me expand
let me
this.
expand this.
So you see
So you
all these
see all
things,
these
then
things, let
use
me clear it
and click
and
again.
click again.
You see,
You
this
see,
one,
this one,
these are
these
all the
are all the
requests it has to
requests it
make
has to make
before the page
before
will
the
load.
page will load.
All right. So
Alright, so
when a page
when
like
a
this
page like
Jumia, you
this
see that it's
Jumia, you see as
loading,
it's loading,
this is how
this
it
is
is
how it
making.
is
If I
making.
open
If
the
I open the
network
network
uh,
uh,
monitoring of this
monitoring of
page,
this page, you see that
it has to make a
it
lot
has
of
to make a
requests.
lot of requests.
This
So
is what
this is
causes the
what
page
causes the
delay.
page delay in loading.
All right.
All
And
right,
this is
and
what
this is
the
what
HTML
the
does.
HTML does. All the
DOM
DOM
component
component,
has
all
to
everything
return
has to return it
for the page
for the
to load
page to
properly.
load properly.
But then
But
in
then
React,
in
that is not
React,
what we
that
want
is
to
not what we
achieve.
want to
What
achieve.
we want is a
What we want is a
situation where we
situation
can do
where we can do
something like this.
something like this.
As this page
As this
loads,
page will load normally the first time,
after loading,
after loading,
so when we
so
click
when
on
we click
another
on
link,
another link,
the
the
entire page is
entire
not going
page
to
is not
load.
going to load. If I click here,
Where did I
where did
click?
I click? Okay, let me click
Solution.
solution. You see,
It changes
it
the
changes
content
the
for us.
content. Here it is
Content for us, but the entire page is not
but the
reloading.
entire page is
This
not
is what we want to
reloading.
achieve.
This is what we want to
Now
achieve.
let's come back.
Now let's come back here.
So for
So
that to be
for that to
achieved,
be
we come back
achieved,
to the
we come back to
navigation
the
link,
navigation link here,
and
and
at this point now
at
we
this point now
use
we
our network
use our
again. This
again
network, if you
this
try me
network. If you try me online,
you know like
you know like
I'll show you what
I'll
I'm made
show
of.
you what I'm made of.
So
So
this point
this
we
point
are going to
we
make
are
use
going
of
to make use of the link
element.
elements.
Okay, we'll
Okay,
make use of the
we make
link
use of the link
element, and
elements,
the link
and the
element
link
is
element is part of
what we
what we
installed
installed
with the
with the
in the React
React
router DOM.
router DOM. So we don't need to install a separate
So right
package.
here,
So right here,
no, here
no, here
I will just,
I
if you
will
want to render a
just, if you
list,
want to render a list, that's
come
fine.
inside
We
here,
can come inside here,
and what we do here now
and
is
what we do here now
we
is
use the link
we
capital
use the
letter
link capital letter
L
L
like this.
like this.
Let me delete this
Let me
and make
delete
sure I
this
import
and
it.
make sure that you import it up here.
So this is the link,
So this is
and
the
then you
link,
use
and then you
the
use
attribute
the
to,
attribute to,
then you
then
specify
you
where you are
specify where you are
redirecting to.
redirecting
We are
to.
not
So
returning
here we are not
elements.
returning elements.
Instead, you
Instead,
open your
you
quote
open
like
your
this,
quote like this,
and then
and
you
then
specify the
you
path.
specify the
So
path.
right now,
So right
once
now,
I
what
go to the path, I
the
mean the
path, I
about
mean
us
the about us
page,
page,
but most definitely
but
it's going
most
to give us
definitely it's
an
going to give
issue.
us an issue.
So I'll
So
close this.
I'll close
The link
this.
has
The link has
closing
a closing
tag,
tag,
and then here we
and
put
then here we
about
put about
us,
us,
and you can
and you
see
can see it
right there on the
right
screen.
there on the screen.
This is
This
about us.
is about us.
So
So
if I click,
if I click,
you see that
you see
it has
that
taken us
it
to
has
about
taken
us
us to
page.
about us
Now let
page.
us check
Now
something
let us
again.
check something again.
This is
This
the home
is the
page,
home page,
and here
and here
on the network
on the
again,
network again,
I will
I will
reload.
reload.
This is for
This is for
initial page
initial
loading.
page loading. I'll clear this up.
I'll click this.
I'll click this.
You see,
You see,
basically
basically it didn't
you see that
even, you see that
nothing. The
nothing,
page is
because the page
returning
is
as an
returning is
empty
an
page.
empty page.
So we didn't
So
have
we
any
didn't have
issue.
any
This
issue.
page did not
This page did
reload,
not reload,
not at all.
not
The
at
page did
all.
not
The page
reload.
did not
So it
reload.
doesn't
So
have to
it
make
doesn't have to go
plenty,
and
plenty
make
requests
plenty requests
before returning
before
the
returning the
us
about
page.
us
So
page.
if I clear
So
this
if I
again,
clear this again and I click,
immediately we are
immediately
on the
we
about
are
us
on the
page.
about us page. Welcome to about us page.
Okay, so this
Okay,
is
so
the
this is
beauty
the
of
beauty of
this link.
this link.
So like this
So
now,
like this
we
now,
can
we
create
can create multiple, can create multiple
navigation elements.
navigation elements.
So let
So
me
let me
make a
make a
copy of this
copy of this
just up here.
just up here. this
and
and
this.
this, because we have 3 pages.
So this first
So
one,
this first one is going to be the home page,
I'll just
and I'll just leave it like this,
and I'll call
and
this
I'll call this
home
home
page.
page.
And this
And
is about
this is about us
and
page,
this
and
is
this is,
we
we
call
call
this
this
portfolio,
portfolio,
and
and this we
this
call it
portfolio.
portfolio.
Okay,
Okay,
and then
and then
it's
it's
as simple as
as
this.
simple as this.
Now we have
Now
three
we have
pages.
3 pages here.
If I click,
If I
this is
click,
about
this is
us.
about us.
If I click,
If I click,
it's already on the
it's
home
already on
page,
the home
so
page,
it's
so
not going to
it's
do
not going to
anything.
do anything. It's not going to change anything, and it's not reloading the page.
Click on this
Click on
one.
this
This
one.
is
This is
portfolio
portfolio
page.
page.
If I
If
reload,
I reload,
okay, we're still
okay,
on the
we're still on
network
the
tab.
network tab, so let me
So
clear this.
about us,
About us,
you see,
you
it shows
see, it
nothing,
shows nothing,
no
no
network
network
activity.
activity.
Portfolio, no
Portfolio,
network
no network
activity. But when I
activity, but when
reload,
I reload,
because I had to pull
because
a
I had
lot
to
of
pull a
things,
lot of things,
we have it
we
right
have it
there.
right there.
Okay.
Okay,
So
so
I hope
I
this
hope
part
this part
also is
also
properly
is
understood.
properly understood. So when you can use your
And
CSS
I'll style
and now
this
style this
any
in
way you
any
want.
way you want to style it.
And remember
And
that this,
remember that this,
what is it called?
what is it called?
This nav link
This
here
nav link
is
here
a
is a
reusable component
reusable component
that you can
that you
import
can import
into all the
into all
pages.
the pages.
So let's
So
take for
let's take for
instance,
instance,
I would
I would
come
come
to the home
to
page.
the home page. Here we have the home page.
I would
I
want to
would
import
want to
the
import
navigation
the
to all
navigation
the
to
pages.
all the pages.
So
So
where are
what
other
are where
pages?
are other pages?
About us page,
About us page,
right up here.
right up here.
I'm just going to
I'm just
look
gonna
for
look for
navigation
navigation
link,
link,
and then
and then
I'll make sure that I
I'll make
import
sure that I
it,
import it,
hit enter,
hit enter,
and I
and
close
I
it,
close it,
and I save.
and I save.
So
So if I click about
this
us
is
page right
this
now,
one.
you see that we have it here. I can click home page, return to the home
About
page,
us.
about us.
Let me bring
Let
this
me
down.
bring this down and let's
Minimize
minimize this. Let me take this
down.
down. Okay.
So now we are on
So
the
now we are on the about us page. If I click home page, we're there.
then
And then
where's the last
where's the last page?
portfolio?
Portfolio.
I can do
I
same
can do same.
inside
Just
here.
inside here, I put
The
the
navigation
navigation
link,
link. Where is that again?
navigation link.
Navigation link.
Make
I
sure I
make
close
sure
it.
I close it.
And
And
so here we are
so
on the home
here we are on
page.
the home page,
About us
about
page,
us page,
portfolio page,
portfolio page, and
simple.
it's simple.
So it doesn't
So
matter
it doesn't matter
the
the
volume of what you
volume
have
of
on the
what you
page,
have on the page,
but this
but this
navigation process
navigation process
does not
does not
refresh the page.
refresh the page, it doesn't reload the
It
page,
just
it
takes you from
just
one
takes you
page
from
to
one
another.
page to
This
another.
is
This is a
practical
practical way
or exactly
or
how
exactly
a
how
single
a
page
single page
application
application
works. And
works.
that is
And that
the
is
method
the
used
method
in
used
modern
in
web
modern web
applications. You don't
applications.
need to
You
use
don't need
a
to
link
use
whereby
a link whereby,
just note that
just note
when
that
we use
when we
the
use
anchor
the
elements,
anchor
our
elements, our
regular
regular
Ahref,
Ahref, blah blah
it
blah,
worked,
it
but
worked,
it has to
but it
reload
has to
the entire
reload the
page
entire
when you
page
use that
when you
method.
use that method.
But when you are
But
using the
when you are
method
using
we
the
are
method
using
that
now,
we're using now,
it, it will give
it
you
will
a
give you a
very
very
fast
fast
loading
loading
web
web
application.
application.
All right.
All right.
So
So
let's take
let's take
questions.
questions if you have any before we.
There's one last
There's
thing I
one
want to
last thing that I want to add
before we go.
before we.
Oh God.
Oh God.
Any question?
Any question?
Have I lost the
Have I
connection
lost the
again?
connection again?
Or am I
Or
still
am I
audible?
still audible?
Okay, now they hear
Okay,
me.
now they
Yeah,
hear
make
me. Oh, yeah.
una ask
Make
question.
una ask question.
Okay.
Okay.
Do you have
Do you
question
have
or
question
the
or
coast is clear?
coast is clear?
If the coast
If
is
the
clear,
coast
you
is
can
clear, oh,
talk.
yeah. Give that.
Sir, hello, sir.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead.
Please, I want to ask the components that you created, the component folder
Mm-hmm.
under the source and the pages. Why
Yes.
I
Yeah.
the component and then that for the pages. Why were they created separately? Like I was thinking if the page can also be under the component or something.
Okay.
Okay.
Yes. Why they are
Yes. Why
created
they are created
separately?
separately is because
Um,
um,
what you're supposed to
what you're
have
supposed to
inside the
have inside the
component
component folder
are your
are your
reusable
reusable
components.
components.
So the
So the
pages
pages
should be
should be
separate
separate
because
because
pages are
these
not
pages are
reusable
not
component.
reusable component.
Why?
Why?
Now on
Now
this
on this
about us
About
page,
Us
we
page,
have the
we have
pages
the
here
pages here
linked already.
linked
So each of
already.
these
So each of
navigation
these
is linking
navigation
to
is
these
linking to
pages.
these different pages.
So what
So
we are
what we
using
are
is the
using here is the
navigation links,
navigation links,
not the
not the
pages
pages
itself.
itself.
Okay.
Okay.
So if we
So
add
if we
this
add
to the
this to the to
navigation
the
link,
reusable component,
it will
well,
work,
it will work. Oh,
but in
but
the
in the
structure in
structure,
our
in our
program
program
structure,
structure,
it has
it has
violated the
violated the
principle of
principle of
separation of
separation
concern.
of
So if
concern.
we have
So
some
if we have some
buttons or
buttons
some
or some
maybe header
maybe header
sections, like
sections,
we have
like we have
navigation
navigation
already,
here already,
all our
all
reusable
our
components
reusable
has to
components
go
has to go
inside
inside
the
the
component folder.
components
Now,
folder.
if you have every
Now,
other
if you have
thing,
every other
we have
thing, just like we
assets
have
here
assets
where you
here,
put in your
where you put in
pictures
your
and your
pictures and
logos.
your
You have
logos,
the
you
public
have the
here
public
where
here,
you put in some
where you
other
put in some
things.
other
That is how
things.
you
That is how
separate
you
them.
separate
You
them.
yourself, you
You
know
yourself, you will know exactly
where
where
certain things are
certain
found,
things are found,
and it is a
and it is a
convention. So
convention.
if any other
So
programmer should
if
come
any
across your
other
code, they
programmer
should
should come
know
across your
where to
code,
find
they
it,
should know where to find what.
just merely by looking at
Just
the
merely by
way you
looking at
structured
the
the
way
code.
you
So that is
structured your
why
code. So that is why
we have to
we
separate
have
them
to
like that.
separate them like
It's not as if it won't work if you put it there. It will work. It will work,
it will work,
but it's not
but it's
just
not
the best
just the
practice.
best practice.
So
So
wait, let me check the
wait, let
chat.
me check the chats.
Maybe some
Maybe
people
some people
were already
were
sleeping.
already
Okay,
sleeping.
we have no
Okay,
message
we
in the
have no
chat,
message in
which
the
means
chat,
all
which
is
means
good.
all
Coast
is
is clear.
good. Coast is
Do you
clear.
have any
Do you
question,
have any
or should
question
we
or should we
continue?
continue?
Um,
Um,
Take for
Let me take, for
example,
example, here we have about
we don't have
us. So we don't have contact us, but I'll put
contacts,
contacts
and I hit
and
enter.
I hit enter.
See what is
See
happening.
what is happening.
It's not
It's not
returning anything.
returning anything.
It said no
It
route
said no
matched
route matched
location.
location.
Okay,
Okay.
but if
But
this is a
if
full
this is a full
application,
application, it can break the
it will
page
show some
or show some funny
error messages.
error messages.
So to control
So to
this,
control this
in our
in
pages,
our pages,
we have to
we have
create
to create
um,
um,
in our pages
in
here.
our pages here. We have to create another page.
Let's just call
Let's
it
just call it
not found.
not
That is
found.
by
That is just by
convention.
conversion what it's
Not found
called.
dot
Not found dot
JSX
JSX
this way.
this way.
And
And
what
what
we have to
we have
create
to
here,
create here,
we just have to
we just
create
have to create
a kind of
a
4
kind
4
of
page,
4 page here.
and we put it
And we
in
put it in form of
one.
H1.
Oh, sorry,
Oh, sorry.
one.
One.
So
So
here
here
is something like
do
for
something like for page not found.
okay,
Okay,
and then
and then we come back to
our home
our
page.
home page.
So
So
in our
in our
navigation,
navigation,
God,
God,
where did I even
where did I
create
even
them?
create those
Maybe I
things?
don't.
Maybe I don't.
Okay, here.
Okay, here.
Sorry.
Sorry.
We come here.
We come here.
We now add
We now add
another route,
another route,
and this route
and this route
now
now
we specify
we
the path,
specify the path,
and this path here
and
is
this
not
path
going
here
to
is not going to
be to
be to
any
any
particular
particular
location.
location.
Rather,
Rather,
we put it
we
to
put it to
an
an
asterisk like this.
asterisk like
So
this.
this will help
So this
to
will help
catch
to catch
any route
any route that
that does not exist
does
on
not
this
exist
page
on this page
and
and
redirect it
redirect it
to the
to the
not
not
found
found
page.
page.
So the
So
element
the
we want
element
to
we want to
return
return
is
now is
this
this
element.
element, and we call it,
What is
what
that?
is that? I will call it not
Found.
found.
It has to be
It
imported
has to be
also.
imported also and close it
Like this.
like this.
Okay, you see
Okay,
it
you see it
already.
already.
Now, if
Now, if
we
we
come up
come
here
up here
and maybe
and maybe
search for
search
about,
for about, sorry,
search for
search for
about,
about,
okay,
okay,
the about will
the
not
about
work.
to,
What just happened?
what just happened?
So
So
this and
this
this
and
are
this, they
working,
are working,
but by the
but
time we
by the
put
time we put something that does not exist,
like
like
profile,
profile,
we hit
we
enter.
hit enter.
After loading the
After
page,
loading the
instead
page,
of just
instead of
bringing
just bringing
random
random whatever or
it will
error, it
return
will
our
return
page not
our
found.
page not found.
So that
So that
asterisk, this
asterisk,
asterisk
this
here
asterisk here
will make sure that
will
it
make sure that it
catches any
catches
route
any
that is
route
not
that is not
defined
defined
inside the
inside the
routes,
routes,
and then
and then return a
return
404 page like
and
this.
then
Then you can then design your own 404 page.
from
Maybe
here.
from here,
You now tell
you
them,
now tell them, okay,
let's do that.
let's do that.
So
So,
because we
because
have been
we
more
have been more
problematic,
problematic,
where is that
where is that
404 page?
404 page? We have it here.
So right here
So,
now we
right
can
here
say
now we can say,
from here
from here
we can
we can
add
add,
uh,
uh,
yes, add a
yes,
link,
add a link,
and
and
this link
this
here
link here
is going
is
to,
going to,
let's call it
let's call it return
to home
to
page.
home page.
Okay, so we have
Okay,
something
so
like
we
this,
have something like this,
and we're
and
now going
we're now
to
going to
pass in
pass
the
in
attribute
the attribute here
to help
to
return
help return
whatever to the
whatever
home page.
to the home page. So go
View the
view
tool,
the tool,
not this.
not this, so not this.
Come on.
Come on.
So
So
specify
specify
this,
this,
and
and
then
then
our
our element,
the
the
element,
element now we have to specify
the
the
home,
home, the
page,
home page,
and
and
good.
good.
So when
So when
perhaps
we
makes a
perhaps
mistake,
makes a mistake,
somebody wants
somebody
to
wants to
navigate
navigate to a page that does not exist,
like
like
profile
profile
page,
page,
we hit
we hit
enter
enter,
to to search for the page
is not there, but we have now return to home page.
click here, it
Click
returns to
here,
home page.
return to home page.
Then from there you
Then
can
from there you
see
can
the
see the existing links.
from there you can
From there you
navigate
can navigate to any other page
that
that
you
you so
desire.
desire.
Okay.
Okay. But
Said,
like I said,
just go
you
ahead
just go ahead and
creating something
creating
that
something
makes
that
sense
makes sense
and
and
whew,
whew,
I think
I
basically
think
that
basically
is
that is
what
what
we need
we
to
need to
do.
do.
Mm,
Mm,
when you're
when you
creating
are creating a real
you have to
application, you have
run
to run
some
some nested
routes.
routes.
Okay,
Okay,
nested route
nested
means
route, which
a
means
route
a route
inside route,
inside route,
or we call
or
it
just call it the nested
links.
links.
Okay,
Okay,
but
but
I think
I
if
think
we don't have
if
any
we don't have any
question,
question,
let's touch a
let's
little bit
touch a little bit on nested
links,
links,
and then we'll
and then
close.
we close. But if
We are already
we are already
exhausted,
exhausted,
then we can
then
pause
we
it
can
here.
pause it here.
We can
We can
always talk about
always
the
talk
nested
about the
link
nested
later,
link later,
maybe when we
maybe
start
when we start
working on something
working on something
complex.
complex. So
Let me leave it
let me leave it.
to
Let me leave it so that we don't go and confuse ourselves.
I think that
I
this
think
is
that this
pretty
is
much
pretty much
straightforward.
straightforward.
So let's not
So
go
let's
and
not go
make
and
the
make the
yes.
yes.
Benedict is
Benedict
because the
is
page
because the
does not
page
exist.
does not
That's
exist.
why
That's why
it
it
reloads
reloads the page
all the
or
tabs.
the
It
tabs.
reloads the
It
entire
reloads the
application,
entire application because the page does not exist.
and that
And
aesthetics
that
there
aesthetics there
is now a kind
is
of
now a kind of
searching for
searching
that
for
route,
that route.
and when
And
it's not
when it's
found,
not found,
then the
then the
fallback route
fallback
is that
route is
404
that
page.
404 page.
So that's why it
So
has to
that's why it
reload.
has to reload the page.
But now
But
you
now
notice
you
that
notice that
um,
um,
let me do that
let me
again.
do that again.
Profile,
Profile, you see, it
reloads,
reloads the page.
but when we get
But when
here,
we get here,
returning back to the
returning
home
back to the
page,
home page doesn't reload the page again. When I click,
okay, it
you see,
returns
it
without
returns
reloading the
without
page.
reloading the page.
Why? Because
Why?
it
Because
is
it
there is a
is there is a
matched
matched
location
location
to the
to the
link that is
link that
clicked.
is clicked. So there is something I forgot to say before. Look at this class that I applied here. You see the class, there's something missing. So you should change this link. Don't just use the link, what did I call it? Don't just use the link components when you are creating your route. Rather use, let me change all of them. You should use nav link like this. So nav link is not imported. We have to import it. Import nav link from React. Okay. When you use NavLink, see the difference between NavLink and NavLink and link. Now, when we check this, we see that when I click on any link here, if I click this one now, you see that this element, where is it? The element will now include an active class. Where is that? Okay, you see this active class. What is bringing this active class here, which is a CSS class, to indicate which page is active, is this nav link. Okay, So if I click on portfolio, let me open it so that we'll see. I'll click on portfolio, watch. You see that our portfolio, oh, this thing cannot remain open. The thing too long. So the portfolio now will have the active class name. Now let me return it to what it was before, just a quick one like this. So in as much as this particular one is working, let's refresh the page. But if I open the elements, let me first click on About Us page. So we'll be on About Us page. I'm going to open the About Us page like this. So this is About Us page, but that active link, active class is not included. That active class is very important when you are styling your CSS, so that if you want to add a CSS style, maybe that will apply maybe background color, when you look at the page, you will know where you are. Let me give an instance. On this page right now, if we load this page, look at this solution. This solution has underlined because it is the active link. If I click on tags, you see that the underline move from solutions to tags. So what makes this to happen like this is that active CSS class. There is a particular CSS, you can write it in your code, that will indicate a link that is open on the page. So while I was doing this, I forgot to add, to explain that, but it's very important that we know it.